Okay guys, this video is all about sleep, why sleep is important and when to sleep, okay? First things first, we're gonna talk about the circadian rhythm. If we talk about sleep, we have to talk about the circadian rhythm. What is the circadian rhythm? The circadian rhythm is an internal body clock that runs for 24 hours that is responsible for digestion, hormone production, overall health, and sleep and awake cycle. Is regulated by the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is found in the brain, and respond to light and darkness. Okay, so what's going on with the circadian rhythm, releases of hormones, and so forth? So we have two primary set of hormones throughout the day and in our body, and those hormones are the catabolic hormones like adrenaline, cortisol, glycogen, and what else? Cytokines, hormones, cytokines or hormones, excuse me, the pronunciation. Those are catabolic hormones. They break down the body, okay? That's necessary for anything in the body to grow and, let's say, heal. There is going to be a breakdown. This is the yin and yang of the human body, okay? So in the morning between 6 and 10 a.m., okay, or 20 minutes to 1 hour after you wake up, cortisol level is going to be at the highest. We need to wake up, we need to be alert to go hunt for food, do our daily things, going to work, take the kids to school, and so forth. So we need to be awake and go. So cortisol is going to be at the highest. Then throughout the day, cortisol is gonna drop down, and it's got three primary more drop of cortisol from the time that we wake up. Then 11 a.m. is approximately the time where cortisol is going to have his first drop, okay? And then again, it's going to have another drop around 3 p.m. This is not set in stone time, depending on the individual. This is based upon health individual that have a good regulated circadian rhythm. So for any one of us, it may be slightly different, 1 hour before, 1 hour after, and so forth. And then again, gonna drop down at 3 p.m. And then at 6 p.m. is gonna level down completely. The 6 p.m. time onward until 10 p.m. is called the winding down time. You remember that I told you that nucleus that controls the circadian rhythm is affected or responds to light and darkness? Okay, so at 6 p.m. The night is start to arrive, and 10 p.m. is start to arrive, and so there is a regulation and change of hormones. When we hit around 10 p.m., cortisol and the catabolic hormones, they should be at the lowest, at the complete lowest of their percentage circulating in the body, to allow the anabolic hormones to be released and start regenerating the body. Yes, exactly. We regenerate between 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. That's the musculoskeletal system. That's why we need the testosterone, growth hormones, insulin, estrogen circulating in the body and healing all that part of the body, all those systems of the body that are being used during the day, and we need to recuperate. Then from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. is our central nervous system, our brain that regenerate. So this is why when we go to sleep is very important, okay? It's not that anytime we sleep we regenerate, but is when we go into sleep very important, and when we regenerate. So that time from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. is very crucial for our healing and health. Okay, so why the light and darkness? What's the matter with that? Because we, as a human being, we are affected by light and darkness, and that's changes. Those changes that I just spoke about it, the change in hormones is very essential. That's why there is a big attention toward their artificial light and how they affect us because of that reason. Because if we are exposed to artificial light in the afternoon when we should be exposed to more lighter amber color light, like the sunset, that will change the releases of hormones, the stress level that we may experience, and consequently that will have an impact on our rest and regeneration time. Let me go into the tips that I'm suggesting you, those 9 tips that I'm suggesting you. Okay, so let's start from tip number 1. Try to regulate the time of going to sleep as always the same or roughly the same. And why is that? Because it creates momentum. And you remember that suprachiasmatic nucleus that I spoke about it, that regulates sleep, regulates hormones and so forth, digestion, and is influenced by light and darkness. If we start going to bed too late, staying up, looking at screens, getting stimulated, or going to bed too early than the normal time, that has an impact on of the body knowledge, let's say, of what time of the day is. Is it bedtime, or am I still supposed to do things, or I'm supposed to go to bed, and so forth. So that's important because it helps the whole regulation. So try roughly half an hour earlier, half an hour later. That doesn't make a huge difference, but what it makes the difference is that regularity. If you go into bed one night at 9 p.m. and one night at 11 p.m., the other night you're going to bed at 1 p.m., another night at 6 p.m. is going to be all over the place. What am I doing? What I'm supposed to do. The body's going to respond like that. It's going to be a bit confused, and consequently it's going to be harder for the body to get into that rhythm. The second and the most used for me tip is is about timing again, but this time is for dinner time. Okay, dinner. We all love dinner. We love to eat, but there are a few things about dinner, the dinner time, related to digestion. We know that the stomach will take about 3 to 5 hours to digest the food. Now, full digestion, it can take an elimination, it can take up to 75 hours. So we can't really go to bed 75 hours after we have eaten a meal, but we can go to bed at least 3 hours after we have eaten a meal. So my meal time for the afternoon or dinner time works around between 6 and 7 p.m. Okay, I try to keep it at that time because that gives me approximately 3 hours until I hit the set. Because I normally turn off completely the light in my room around 9 p.m. Okay? So that, again, that gives me that regularity of the sleep to get into that momentum. Another tips about the food is don't eat too much food because food is thermogenic and we need at approximately 3 degrees of drop of temperature, of body temperature, of core temperature to fall asleep. So if we eat a lot of food, digestion is a bit slower, it produces a lot of heat, that will impact and influence our ability to fall asleep. Same related to food is the type of food, but again, if you maintain that regularity of eating approximately 3 hours before that is not really that much important. As long as your digestion is good and you're not delaying too much the digestion, or you don't have a delayed digestion too much, that's gonna be fine. Protein, fat, and spicy food. Those are the major one that they may create a lot of heat within the body, especially protein. So if you eat too close to bedtime and you eat a big steak, you may have some trouble to fall asleep because during digestion, the body will create a lot of heat. Nevertheless, think about the energy that will take to digest the food. If you're going to bed and you want to rest and regenerate, and with regeneration, it means that the body needs energy to regenerate, to rebuild your body. If instead you're going to do another strenuous activity like digesting food, that will impact your energy availability to the body to be able to actually regenerate the body. So try to minimize that. Try to have a good 3 hours before you go into bed between dinner and bedtime. Okay? So to give that a bit of less strain on the digestion. My third one is light. Okay? I do have some artificial light that are more bright, more white color light in the room, but we don't use those one when we go in the room at nighttime. And the simple reason is because our eyes, our skin, those are affected by the light, by exciting the body, creating a little bit of excitement, a little bit of a stress within the body, and consequently compromising our ability to fall back asleep, to fall asleep. So we utilize what? We utilize nice dim light that are reddish, amber in color. You can find that many different brand out there. You can find some like we have it in the room. Then you can actually monitor the color intensity, how red you want it, how white you want it, how dimmed or lightened you want the room with an app on your phone. So they connect it to the Wi-Fi and so forth. But you can do it just before you go into bed. Just as a note about the Wi-Fi, because of the situation that we have in the house, we do not switch off completely the Wi-Fi. The modem will be still on. The Wi-Fi, we put a timer that is actually dropping, but the modem will be still on. So I know there is a lot of talk, but I don't have all that knowledge about the Wi-Fi, and consequently, I won't necessarily turn off the Wi-Fi as one of my tips because I don't have all that knowledge. So 3, light. 4th is the room. Okay, I like to sleep with windows open, or at least one windows open, or some circulation of air. And why? Because we need a drop in temperature, okay, for the body to fall asleep. And I like to feel that fresh air and not stagnating air in the room that keeps a nice and fresh room. So it's easier to fall asleep. That's my 4th, and then my 5th one. My 5th one is I utilize a mask, okay? I utilize a cotton mask that I wrap around in front of my, around my head and covers my eyes. So I have a complete darkness. Same things with the blinds. We have nice and thick and covering blinds on windows so that the room is nice and dark. You remember what I said about the light and darkness or being affected? Same things. Say if the moon is really strong and you got light coming in from the moon and bringing light inside of the room, that will affect your ability to fall asleep. But with the mask and good curtains around, that will be not of a problem. Okay, you minimize that. Then my sixth one is a hot shower. Okay, hot shower before going to bed. Once again, we need the 3 degrees of core of a drop in core temperature to fall asleep. And consequently, by having a hot shower, not too long, not for too long time, not a bath, not something like that, something that is just gonna stimulate the pore of the skin to open up just enough so that there's gonna be more ability for the body to actually release that extra heat that needs to decrease within the body. You kind of tricking the system to open up the pore of the skin so that I actually can lose some of the heat from the inside. And then you go into bed and you lay down on bed. So that was number 6. Number 7 is tea and herbal teas. Okay, I love my chamomile and my lavender. Okay, they being shown to be soothing. Aromatherapy can tell you about it. There is plenty of research out there that those, particularly those 2 herbs, and there are many others, but those are the ones that I use because I like the flavor, I like the smell. The smell of lavender reminds me my grandmother farmhouse that we used to have a little bags of lavender flowers with throughout the clothes, and was amazing. Many of you knows about the French lavender and the European lavender, how beautiful the smell is, and so that's really soothing for me, really calming, really relaxing. So I really use that. Either the tea with either both or one of them, or having some essential oil of lavender around and stuff. I really like those. And then the last one is magnesium. Magnesium glycinate. Magnesium glycinate is been shown to be able to relax the body, relax the muscle, and that's what we need to go to bed and to have a nice, deep, nice sleep and regular sleep. My suggestion to when to take the magnesium, take it perhaps 1 hour before you actually going to eat a meal. So you have 4 hours before you're going to bed, you know, three good hours before you're going to bed, and that is going to release in the stomach. It's going to be digested or partially digested and released throughout the night. So these are my 9 tips on how to get a good regular sleep. Now, not 100% of the time, but a good 8 to 9 out of 10, I have a good sleep and I feel regenerated the day after. Waking up time is another tip, but it's the same as the going to bed time. Try to keep it regular, okay? So that circadian rhythm has got its regularity and you can follow into that cycle, okay? So this is Gio from Rebalancing Health. I hope you enjoyed my video and I hope you going out there and shredding in the surf more.